Welcome to AbillnTalks. For our first question, who is Shaun Brown?
Shaun Brown is a husband, disciple. I'm a father of two and a half. We got one on the way. I got two girls, a little boy coming in May. Shaun Brown is a mentor, a coach, an author, podcast host, pastor. That's me.
Next question, how did you get started in the ministry?
I got my start in ministry back in really 2017. I came from working at Home Depot, and it was a low point in my life. I was like 28 at the time, pushing buggies, making like $10 an hour, knowing, it's more to me. And this pastor walked in one day and he was like, "There's the $1 Million Man." And I'm like, ain't no way you talking to me. You know what I'm saying? At the time, everything I was going through. And so with that, I started, he invited me to his church. He was having Bible studies at the time. That led to me getting in the Word. I grew up in the church or whatever, but that started my personal journey. And then he just so happened to be taking a break because it was around the holidays or whatever. And he was going out to somewhere, I don't even know, maybe Atlanta, Alabama, something like that. So church was off for a few weeks, but I was so fired and so on fire and so stirred up that I couldn't really take a break at the time. So, I was looking for something, and my brother was a worship leader at this church in Carnesville, and he invited me out to their church. And so, as I had been going to the other guy's church or whatever, I had a list made up of my prayer requests for the next year, something I do every December. And one of my prayer requests was to get my wife and my current wife, we were dating at the time, get her and my stepdaughter in church. And so within a week or the following week, that prayer was answered. And so that led to her joining the worship team. From there, they were looking to build a youth ministry, and every time it come up, I have people in the church, give me that glance or whatever, and I look away. And so after we got married that September of 2018, within like maybe 2 or 3 weeks, I finally accepted the offer of becoming a youth pastor. And so that's how I got into ministry.
Praise God, man. Praise God, man. Praise God. How difficult was the transition from music to ministry?
Most people, that's what they know me from, is music. Man, it was, I guess the most difficult part was more so not giving up on something, but letting it go, so to speak. Because at the time, I had just put out my first album. Me and my brother, we had a single that did over 1 million views on Spotify. And so trying to go from one lifestyle into ministry, which is something I'm not familiar with, something that I didn't want to be in to begin with, but I felt that tug from God to do it. It was a rough transition, just trying to be authentic and, trying to separate myself from the people that knew me from what they knew me from.
Do you plan on making any Christian music?
Yeah, I'm trying to get back into it. I'm actually working on something right now that hopefully it'll be out end of this year, top of next year. So I'm back just, in a different light, so to speak.
Why did you choose the name Nine Church?
So going back into ministry, I was asleep one night and God spoke to me in my dreams. He was like, "I want you to start a church." And he said, "I want you to call it Nine Church." I'm like, talking to God, I'm like, "Why 9?" And so he takes me to Galatians 5:22-23, and basically 9 is representative of the fruit of the Spirit. So you have 9 fruit. If you read that verse, and you'll see those, which is love, joy, peace, patience, goodness, gentleness, kindness, faithfulness, and self-control, I believe. But depending on which version you read, it may say something different. But it's 9 of them, so that's where you get 9 church.
What's the vision for the church, and what should people expect?
Well, the vision is not one of my own. It's a God-given vision, and that vision is to do everything that Jesus said we could do as far as uh, the supernatural, miracle, signs, wonders, um, prophecy, deliverance. Basically moving kind of apostolic and just building disciples and not just staying located in one place, but spreading out throughout the world with it. I got a vision of you know all throughout the country for it, uh, building up people. Uh, got a guy that I'm working with, mentoring now, trying to get him, you know, just show him the life or whatever. And so, hopefully one day he'll take over the reins of a certain spot, certain area.
It's beautiful, man. Leading by example, man. That's very powerful, and that's what's needed.
Man, I appreciate that, bro. Y'all doing a great example, especially with the community awareness, AbillnTalks, everything y'all got going on.
Thank you, man. Thank you. So tell us about your book, man. Tell us about your book. How long has this book?
Man, so I released my first book February of this past year. It's a 31 day devotional titled 31 Days to Believe God Again. And so basically it's just a accumulation of devotionals that I've written myself. Certain may have been something I wrote on Twitter, may have been something I wrote on Facebook or whatever. And so I'm just sitting there at work one day, and God told me to write a book. And he said, you have everything you need for it. I didn't know where to start. He just said, you got everything you need. And so I finished the book in 2 days. And so I finished it in 2 days, but I sat on it for a while because I was like, man, ain't nobody trying to hear what I got to say with this right here. But, after time, I was like, he kept bringing it up. And so I ended up publishing it February of 21 this year.
Congratulations on that, man. Tell them where they can get the book, man. You gotta plug that in there, man.
Yeah. Y'all can find my book for $10 at my website, www.rashaunbrown.com. And for y'all that don't know how to spell that, it's RASHAUN. Brown is in the color. So please go get that, support that. My entrepreneurial side.
Man, I see you blowing up on TikTok. Your biggest following numbers wise on TikTok. What brought about the viral video, and what was it like watching it go viral?
Man, so again, one night I'm at work, and I've been scrolling on TikTok just watching videos or whatever, and Spirit spoke to me like, I want you to post a video. I'm like, I'm not one of these TikTok dudes, you know what I'm saying? Like this ain't really me.
Right.
And so I'm walking through work, making my rounds or whatever. And I'm like, he keep telling me, like, I told you to do this or whatever. So, all right, I'm going to be obedient. What you want me to do? Like, I don't want to just, make no random TikTok video or whatever. He was like, you have everything you need. So I sit down or whatever, and I start going through my phone or whatever, my files, my videos, and it was this video of me and my wife or whatever. And it was back, but way before we were in ministry, when we were like early on dating or whatever. And he gave me everything I needed from that clip to, what sound to use in the background, and what, it was 2 clips, one of me preaching, one of her preaching. And the title said, "We never wanted to be pastors." Because, that's our story. We never wanted to be in ministry. I started off in music. I started off from, people know me from what they know me from. That's just part of my story, part of my testimony. And so once I finally compiled all those clips together, whatever, I posted it. Walking back to the office and, ain't nothing happening. So I'm like, maybe, I'm hearing things or whatever. So I lay my head down or whatever. Time passed. I check my phone or whatever. It's like at 5,000 views within like an hour from the time that I had checked it. And I'm like, somebody done hacked my phone. What's going on? And so I get off work. I'm texting my wife, so I work third shift or whatever, and she wasn't really responding because, she sleep or whatever. So I get home, I show it to her. She was like, that's crazy. So this time it's like 10,000 views. I take me a nap. I wake up, we at like 15. So 15 within like the next day jumped to like 30. And I believe it's somewhere like 80,000 plus views or whatever. And so, that's just how it happened overnight.
That's special because I tell people often they think social media is a dark place.
Yeah, for sure.
Only if you search in there. And I feel like Nine Church is a perfect example of the positivity that you can find on social media. It's basically all what you search for.
Man, I definitely say, even to add on to that, use all your resources that you have because, you never know where it's going to happen for you at. I was expecting to blow up, my ministry to take off on Facebook or whatever, or, just where people see me most from, whatever. But it happened on an app that I was never even using. So one clip changed my life.
When do you plan on having your first service?
Lord willing, if everything goes planned, hopefully sometime between March and April of 2022. We'll have our first official launch service.
When you look at life, what's your biggest accomplishment thus far?
Definitely have to be my family. We built something special. We went through hard times, struggles, just, even my daughter, I don't even look at her as like, my daughter. That's an answered prayer to me. Because we struggled so long just trying to, conceive and whatnot. And then once, we finally had her, holding that blessing in my hand. So definitely my family is my biggest accomplishment thus far.
How can people contact you or book you for an engagement?
You can follow me on social media. All of that's listed on my website. Again, that's www.rashawnbrown.com. You can find all of my socials there. You can find my book, how to contact me for a speaking engagement, whatever you need. You can find it right there.
Hey, thank you for stopping by, man. It's AbillnTalks. We're here with Mr. Shaun Brown once again.
Appreciate y'all having me, man.
Tell them one more time where they can find you.
RashawnBrown.com. You can find me right there. Everything you need to contact me is right there on that website.
All right, man. It's AbillnTalks.
Yo, this is Rashawn Brown. I just linked with AbillnTalks, man. Bobby Lorenzo C. White. Yes, sir.